Hello everybody, welcome to another review. So I've got a brand new album by Hands Like Houses, Atmospheric. So this is the first record by the band independently. I don't really know where the band was going. It was almost looking like they were going to disband them and that would be the end of them. But they have come back with new material independently and I am curious. So they've released 4 EPs and combined it to an album, so it is technically an album, and Kerrang labels it a double album. I'm not sure what the rules are, because an EP, 2 EPs is practically an album, so I'm assuming since it's 4 EPs, it gets listed as a double album. I don't really know, I just consider it an album, to be honest. It's 16 songs, there are albums that are longer that aren't double, so yeah, let's just dive right in. So we've got 4 EPs, all of them are pretty much named as portals, as the Josh Raven, the lead singer, has said when he came to writing a lot of ideas. Josh Raven's also the new lead singer. This is the first album he's worked on, and it was originally going to be just a few songs, but the ideas kept coming, and that's why we have different periods and stages of the EPs. So we have Tropo, Strato, Meso, and Thermo, which are basically all prefixes to Sphere, because there is the portal link. So we're going to start with Tropo and end up with Thermo. So with Tropo we have 4 tracks. We have Heaven, Better Before, Blood Rush, and Paradise. To me, this one is a good start. Heaven is probably one of the better tracks on this album, but as well on the EP especially. I think there's a lot of potential. It definitely pulls you straight into that Hands Like Houses kind of era that a lot more people might enjoy. Considering the fact they have leaned too much on pop, it's nice to see them kind of go back into a bit more of a kind of standard sound for them, put in the hard rock elements into the pop, which I think work nicely here. Better Before has Aaron Giuseppe, who is the lead singer of Under Oath, which honestly feels like kind of wasted here. I don't think the lead singer quite feels as present to the song as I'd like it to be. He definitely makes the song stronger, but the song just wasn't that strong to begin with. It's just kind of an alright song, so I'm not big on it. Blood Rush, which has Emmy Mack. This is the lead singer of Red Hook, another small band in Australia that I actually think is quite good, and I recommend them. Blood Rush is good, the energy's great. I think Emmy Mack's vocals definitely kick ass, especially towards the bridge. He definitely has the energy to it. And then Paradise, which has Matthew Wright from the Getaway Plan. I've never heard of this band, so I don't really know much about Matthew Wright here, but Paradise sounds good. It's nothing crazy, but I think his vocals is a nice addition, and I think he's probably the most utilised feature here, so I think it's definitely a good way to wrap it up. Tropo, so looking at it, it's a good EP. I think it's definitely a good start, and we're getting better with this. Strato, we have 24 Hours. I think this one just kind of sounds standard. It's a decent song, but it isn't one that I necessarily am that big on. I'd say it's good enough just to be a good song, but that's about it. Hollow, this one's got an interesting vibe to it, but I think in the end it is quite fun, and that's what I think works with this one. Just a standard, another song. Panic is great. It's one of the heavier songs. I like the uncleans, I like the energy. There's kind of more of the Hands Like Houses I like to see more, and Panic definitely works in that. Even Wildfire just feels a bit more aggressive, and I like it. I think these two definitely bring the EP up into good ideas. So yeah, I quite like half the songs on Strato, and the other two still good, just not as strong. And then we have Misu from Mesosphere. Starting off with The Devil Decisions, quite a soft song, like a slower song, quite melancholy, and I think it's decent. I think it's a nice kind of change from the energy we had in Strato, and it's quite nice. Hurts Like Hell, which I know this one, this is the only song I actually listened to prior to the album, because it features one of my favourite bands, Normandie, and honestly the collab works pretty decently. It's not one of, if this was a Normandie song, it's definitely not one of their best, but I like the energy. It's got this poppiness. Philip Strand's vocals just work great here. He's very well utilised, which is nice, and I love the little bit of screaming he does in the bridge. I think the energy's great. Definitely the better of the 2 vocalists though, but yeah, I think Hurts Like Hell is definitely one of the best things on this record. I think the energy's great. It feels like it could be a Normandie song. It feels like it could be a Hands Like Houses song. The collab works then. We have Obey featuring Kellen Quinn from Sleeping with Sirens. Yeah, this one's also pretty good. I was expecting it to go a little bit heavier, but Obey's very catchy. I just like the groove on it, and I think it's a good song. Chemicals is fine. I'm not crazy on it, but I think it's pretty decent, and I think that gives Misu probably the leverage of being the strongest of the four EPs at the moment, but we'll see how the final bit goes. Thermo, this is more or less the brand new material that only came out this week, at least most of it, because of, well, it got released as an album before this was an EP, so that's just kind of how it worked. Fatally Fractured, yeah, this one's pretty decent. I'm not big on it. It's not as catchy or it's not as great as I remember it to be, but I still think it's pretty decent, and it's quite fun for that. ICU, I have a bone to pick with. This one actually sounds like Normandie Serotonin, from the vocals of the chorus to the bridge, just kind of having this slow bit of groove where the instrumentals just kind of focus on these softer vocals, as it gives this kind of chilling presentation, the same way that Serotonin does. It, to me, just kind of reeks of a Normandie ripoff, so I'm not a big fan of it. Parasite, I don't really remember this one as much. It doesn't really stand out to me. It's just kind of a whatever track. In the end, it has Benjamin Joseph, but everywhere I looked, it said it had someone else as a feature, so I don't really know, to be honest, but I think it was alright. The end wasn't anything incredible. I think this EP was just kind of the one that lacked the most of it, and I felt it just kind of blew it out of water for a bit, because I definitely feel like this would have been a stronger release if it had more consistency throughout all the EPs. Some EPs have consistency, like the Misu EP or Mezzo EP, and I guess to an extent Strato has that consistency, but there's definitely songs that are more noticeably better than others. Meanwhile, Tropo and Thermo are the biggest weaknesses when it comes to the EPs, as they have wasted potential, or they just have some of the weaker stuff in general. So around that kind of my overall opinion, I think the good songs are good, but there isn't anything that impressed me on this. It just kind of feels like Hands Like Houses trying to push back a more creative side, which I appreciate, but it doesn't really quite link or pull me in as much. I think there's some good songs. It's not really anything I absolutely despise or anything, but yeah, I just don't think Hands Like Houses are really creating anything magical here. It just kind of feels like a standard release, and if you like it, then I get that, but yeah, it's not anything exciting or anything to really look forward to in the long run. I think it rounds up around just be a good album. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Good potential and everything, but it just isn't quite there yet. And I think Hands Like Houses, if they keep pushing, I can definitely see them making a much better album than what they have recently. So that is it. Hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.